you say is your interesting writing quirk?
I have to be very honest, I don't think I have one. I sit down and I write, get up, look out the window, have some of my nicotine, go back, write away. So I don't really have a quirk.
You just write. So you don't believe in writer's block?
I don't believe in it. I think, we all are blocked in many ways at different times. It's not writer's block, it's just, we're thinking about something else.
All right. And what do you like to do when you're not writing?
Golly me, I don't know. I like to read a lot. I've now started taking up embroidery. I'm starting to sew. I want to sew beautiful artworks.
Mm-hmm.
I like to look out the window while I smoke my nicotine.
So would you say that writing exhausts you or energizes you?
Energizes, there's no other question.
It gives you like a rush of just
Fun.
adrenaline.
Yeah, and it's fun and exciting, and you do it, and you like, wow. And I do it in different spaces, so I don't always do it at home. I do it when I'm in Mombasa, I do it when I'm in Long Island, I do it when I'm traveling in Cape Town, or whatever. So it's a different, I sit in a cafe, so it's an energizing thing in the sense of looking around the different environment, people, the sounds.
Oh, cool. That's actually really cool. So with this book, In the Shadow of the Springs I Saw, it has a lot of images, it has a lot of pictures taken from the city. So I just want to know from you, what was the most interesting or bizarre thing that you found when you were going around and, getting all this information?
I don't know about interesting and bizarre, but we had a fun time all in all. I think the most fun, exciting adrenaline was we met this guy and we said, can we go into the building? He said no. And he was like, I was saying hi. And his name was Dennis. And I was saying, hi Dennis, hi. And he was like, big. And Dennis was like a cool dude. And Dennis was like talking down to me and the two people that I was with, literally and metaphorically. And he was a building hijacker and a drug dealer, but he was the coolest dude on the block.
That's so cool. And then with your writing process, you've written more than one book, you're a published author, well respected.
That's kind of you to say that.
So have you ever written a book with the input of your readers? So do you ever ask them what they think, and have you ever written something directly influenced by a reader? If so, in which book?
I must be honest, I haven't. And there's that awfully egotistical statement by Gertrude Stein who says, I don't write for any readers, I write for myself. Which is terribly egotistical, but
So, last question, because we are running a bit on time. Do you have any suggestions to help people become better writers? Or what are the most surprising things you've learned in creating your books?
I don't even know. All I can say is that I never started as a writer. I was a lawyer for a long time, and then I decided to write. And I think you can nurture yourself. So I went to a writing group and read stuff to them. But also I think you're influenced by what you read, so you get inspired. You're influenced by places you go to, so you get inspired. And then it's practice. For me, there's no such thing as, wow, he's a genius. I think anyone can learn to write. Anyone can learn to be a mathematician. Anyone can learn to, you've just got to learn and perfect it in as much as you can. So for me, that whole notion of the individual is the genius. No, anyone can do it, I think.
Okay. And you said something very interesting earlier, which I want to wrap up on. In terms of the writing process, you said something about not believing in it being linear. Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Oh, okay. All these creative writing courses, not to say that I haven't done one, I have, but they say, no, you've got to start at the beginning, then you have a middle, then you have an ending, and in it there's like an arc, and the character moves from not understanding to understanding, and then they deflate, and blah, blah, blah. No, I think there are a variety of different genres of writing. You don't have to be realist. That's realism is a genre. You can write in many other ways. So for me, like my last book was Stream of Consciousness, much more interspersed with people's stories. This one is a variety of things: letters, communications, stories of people, 3 lines, and you just, you don't have to have life is not boringly linear. And so for me, that's what books are.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for chatting to us today, Barbara. It's been a pleasure having you on Bridge Books.
That's very kind of you. So now hopefully we'll have a fabulous celebration.
We're going to readings from Johannesburg Awakening Minds. So we're going to have a little bit of a different sort of setup from your traditional book launch. We're going to hear from Barbara just now. And then we're going to have readings, performances, music. And then afterwards we'll take just a couple of questions. Please do linger, hang out. The books are available for sale here and upstairs. So please buy copies for everyone you know.
Well, I want this event to go ahead here. I'm not going to talk too much about the book because I think you'll get tired of hearing about it. So I just want to say a couple of things. And the first one is, how did this book come about? And it came about because a friend of mine, who's sitting there, Marek, said, let's go to Springs one day. They've got the most beautiful Art Deco buildings there. More Art Deco buildings than in a small space than in Miami. So I said, okay, fine, let's go. And we went, and wow, were the buildings fantastic. In fact, as we were driving around, I thought, here's a book in the making. Then, because I do a little bit of work at Wits, I asked 2 students, Shreddy and Nelly, who, Shreddy's in the US, but Nelly is around, so I'm not sure. But anyway, I said, let's go to Springs and let's walk around, let's take photographs, let's just hang out, which is what we did. So over a period of maybe a year, 18 months, I'm not quite sure, we walked around, we took photographs, we spoke to drug dealers, we fell in love with hijackers of buildings, we bought fake clothes, we just had a good time. And we were really an incongruous threesome, so people looked at us and thought, wow, who are these people? And they just allowed us to go ahead and walk around and take pictures and talk to people. And so that's how it came about, and it was kind of a lot of fun. So what does the book consist of? It's certainly not a linear narrative, starting at the beginning, finishing at the end. It consists of pictures, a lot of pictures, like a lot of these, like this one here, or various others. It consists of a series of stories about people who live in the town now, who are mainly immigrants from Africa and Asia. And it also consists of stories who lived in the town before, who were also mainly immigrants. A lot of Jewish people who were escaping the Second World War and the Holocaust, and a lot of Eastern European people and Southern European people, and they came to South Africa to make a better life, in inverted commas, which is the same reason that the immigrants are here now. Then there's a series of letters between 2 people, a woman who lives in Springs and a friend of hers who's immigrated to the United States, and she just talks about what she looks at in the streets. And in the letters, there's always a ballet motif. And for me as the writer, the ballet motif is there because if you think about it, a ballet step is always the same step. But depending on the dancer, depending upon the choreographer, so it changes. Buildings are the same thing. They're always there, the same building. But depending upon the economic times, people who live there, what's happening in the country or the area, so they change. So really, that's, and also there are various extracts from poetry and songs and whatever. So that's what the book includes. So for me, when I was writing, what I was thinking was buildings are the repositories of stories. Buildings are in many senses a memory factory. It's quite a generalization. Is that many white people complain all the time. Our heritage is being destroyed. And then clearly they're talking about a European heritage. And in many senses, when you look at buildings and they're certainly not, they don't look like they looked 30 years ago, I was loath to buy into this narrative. What I wanted to write about was a book in which heritage is not being destroyed, it's just being changed. It's just being recreated, reappropriated, and a new beauty is developed. And what I wanted to also show was in the midst of sometimes despair, whether it was in the 30s or whether it is now, sometimes it was poverty, their people, their kids, their people having a good time, and they're interacting with the space that they're living in. But really, in many senses, that's kind of all that I'm going to say, because what I have to say is not any real consequence. It's what you as the reader think and perceive, and clearly it's what the readers here think and perceive, and they're going to read for us today. And we're going to have fabulous singers also perceiving different things and singing. So that's what we're going to do.
About Hillbrook is the food. You should try the contact. Oh, guys. Then the people, they can be kind and mean at the same time. There are their times. Then what I hate about Hillbrook is the influence that it has on kids. They do drugs, they drink, you'll find them out at night. The girls get pregnant at a young age.
So what I like about the space is you can't differentiate night to day, because night people are like they are living in daytime, and daytime is like the night time. So there is movement all the time. And what I like also about the area is there you can taste all kind of food. It is just the room in your tummy that will give you, that will tell you when to stop or if you want to pass out after eating. The wrong there is you don't trust the person who's coming walking behind you, because you don't know. Maybe he can pull out the knife and stab you on the neck. So that's why you are always on the lookout. So this is what is always.
But it was a long while ago. An old boat mining town, isn't it?
A dead town.
No! Springs is growth, new growth. But in springs, it is now autumn.
It is a nothing space, a dead space, a dirty space.
There is a lot of trash in it. But look past the garbage at the Art Deco buildings, one of the best Western architectural styles.
Decorations decorate.
Art Deco, the birth of a flower.
Their movement defines the space. They are the flowers that flourish. The Greek, the Portuguese, the Jew, the Italian, they walk the streets. They have no home here anymore. They make but a stain on the wall, indelible. Their souls are here now.
Springs is an immigrant town.
It has always been an immigrant town.
We are afraid.
Of whom?
The dead, it is now dirty.
Of what?
The ghosts, they are everywhere.
Who knew the beauty of the Art Deco architecture?
This is a dead town. It's a ghost town.
Springs. This place is like somebody's memory of a town.
And the memory is fading.
Ghosts are not real.
We are all ghosts.
Ghosts have no memory.
We have no memory.
We will remember through the spaces that are lived in.
What are we waiting for?
For it to be too late.
And the young boy. The old man looked like a drug dealer. Am I being presumptuous here? A stereotype. There are a lot of drug dealers in this street. He wore dark glasses and a headband tied across his forehead. On each finger of both his hands, he wore a ring. I am sure that I saw the winking of diamonds in those rings. And the young boy, well, he was just a boy. The man was teaching the young boy to ride a bicycle. He held the boy around his waist, so that he remained upright and did not fall over onto the road. It was elegant and light. For a long time, I watched them move in the moonlight, slowly. The Adair is a slow movement performed with fluidity and grace. The movement creates the feeling of ease. The boy and the man performed the Adair. I felt happy. I am happy that I have this memory.
My mother, she's young. She works on a Saturday night at the Kentucky Chicken, that place over there. And they stay open late because many people buy it on a Saturday. I think because they like to eat and get drunk. She always brings us the chicken. I like it. Look here. It's fake money. Mandela's not on it. It must be fake. And I can't buy anything with it. But I like it. I like to pretend that I'm a big man, a rich man, and so I like to show it off to my friends.
I call this book ethno-fiction. So it's kind of like, some of it's fiction based on my perceptions of what I heard and saw. More fictional than non-fictional, put it that way. Yeah. And the pictures are real. I mean, clearly, the pictures, yeah. But the ethno-fiction comes about, it's very interesting because I once read a book by this fellow who wrote in Brazil, in Recife, and he interviewed street children. And what he realized when he was interviewing, after like several years, he interviewed the same kid who was now growing and growing, that the story was changing and changing and changing. And the kid themselves was making up what they wanted their life to be, what they perceived their life to be. So what I did was I spoke to people, they told me things, I wrote what they perceived their lives to be and what I perceived their lives to be, which is not real. Yeah.
Thank you, fascinating. Have you read the stories that you've written back to some of the people that you interviewed and chatted?
No. Not because I don't want to, but because they snippets, and often the people were just passing by on the street. It wasn't sitting down in a formal interview. It was like, hey, wow, show us where you stay. That kind of thing. So, yeah. I think the one that Lawasi read, that was an encounter that we had. So that was my perceptions of this fellow. Yeah. It was fabulous. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much, and thank you for all being here. I'm very, very happy, and thank you, Bridge Books, and thank you, choir, and thank you, readers.
Bye.